play of the game from way down.
True, silence. Rainer getting absolutely
A team wipe.
The living bomb's going.
Oh my goodness, the ring. Bombstastic gonna find Rainer.
Oh, the life finder keeps Maev up. It was gonna be a close thing.
And healing, what? Get out of no! No!
Triple stun again. Big flanks coming out from the Blaze.
It's a death metal though.
Death metal into the double, triple kill.
Hello everybody and welcome. It's the NGS Season 7 playoffs and we're in the Division B East Coastal Finals. What a crazy matchup this is about to be between the real ultimate mosh pit, aka Trump, and Beast Coast. And if you haven't been, if you're watching, if you've been part of Division B, you know that these teams have had the opportunity to have a little bit of a meme war, I guess, although it's mostly been one-sided, but it's, you know, it's been there. So but let's take a look here. Let's take a look at these brackets. How did we get to this point? So up in the upper half of the bracket, Beast Coast was at they were playing against Jailbait. They did 2-1 over Jailbait. They then had to play the #1 Heroes of the United States 2-0 over them to get into the Coastal Finals. Down in the other half of the bracket here, though, the real ultimate mosh pit had to overcome Murky's Hit Squad 2-1. Follow up to that, they had to beat pretty much their #1 rival, Minion Miners, 2-1, and now find themselves in the Coastal Finals against Beast Coast. And let's check out here for the maps. What do we have for our bans here? We've got the bans from the real ultimate mosh pit being Battlefield of Eternity and Towers of Doom. On the side of Beast Coast, sticking with tradition, going with Tomb of the Spider Queen and Infernal Shrines. So sticking with the normal standard bans there from Beast Coast. And we'll see how the teams look to build up tonight. Our first game is going to be on Brax's Holdout. So going to see some sustained team fighting on this map. We're going to see a important top lane fight brawl between those two, holding that control point. Aside from that, keep in mind that tonight is a best of 5. We are at the minimum going to get 3 games. We could see all of 5. We, in fact, saw 5 on Thursday in the Division D East Coastal Finals between Probius and House of Ches. I highly recommend you check that out. If you were not here on Thursday to see it, go back and check the VODs. It's saved in my... Check the highlights. It's a better cut. Or you can check it on my YouTube as well. Just do a quick search for House of Ches and Probius. So, as those were some very exciting games to watch. Let's see. And it looks like they're calling out that the playoffs are ready to go. Thank you, Valera2. Valera2. And Bigsby, good to see you. Welcome back from Italy. Glad you could make it for the B East Coastal Finals. Now they're Coastal Finals because it's kind of like the, you know, championship games, right? It's the one right before the Super Bowl where these teams will face off against the other half of the country, the teams that play in a slightly different time bracket. And so this is the East side. We're going to have the West side tomorrow, I believe, is when they're playing theirs, and it'll be whoever wins tonight will be going up against the winner of, I believe it's Deviled Kegs and Logical Decision. I'm just double checking that right now. It is Logical Decision versus Deviled Kegs. So let's see. So just checking in here. Think that we're waiting on one player who's not feeling well, so we'll be ready to go soon. Valera, yep. Well, I should have known based on the name, but, you know, reading it, misunderstanding it for the first time, it happens. And it sounds like we might be ready to go. One team is ready. Maybe the second team's ready? I don't know. And it looks like we are all set and ready to go. We're going to get into game number 1 on Braxis Holdout between the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit and Beast Coast. So checking out these teams, both of these teams have had some success with heroes that are a little bit outside of kind of the norm for the division, or even some. We'll just call it off meta. Not that they're bad heroes, but they've been able to make use of them in such a way that their opponents are not used to playing them. We've seen things like the Ragnaros and the Mephisto. Both of which have had success. We saw a highlight level clip on Thursday with the Kel'Thuzad. So we've had some successful heroes that don't get picked a ton outside of these two teams, but we have seen them. We're gonna see Zul'jin being the first ban. I think my game sound is actually pretty low. Let me see if I can turn that up just a touch here. Do I have it off? Ah, that's why. You guys probably heard it, but I couldn't. Next ban going to be on the ETC, and ETC being one of the upper tier tanks. Let me make sure actually that the settings are set correctly too. I want to make sure you guys can hear. Yeah, it looks like you can. All right, there we go. And that Kel'Thuzad, now that Kel'Thuzad highlight that I was talking about was against, it was Beast Coast versus the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Now, if you were here on Thursday, or if you went back and checked that replay, it was we cast this replay game just 2 days ago. Now, Trump won that matchup 2-0. But Kel'Thuzad had they comboed the ETC power slide into a mosh pit on the bottom control point on Volskaya into a level 20 upgraded Shadow Fisher from Kel'Thuzad, and it just obliterated the entire team. So having that Kel'Thuzad banned out, not a big surprise. And I don't think they've actually added the change to Kel'Thuzad yet. I think that's coming in the next patch. But our first pick is going to be Sylvanas. So Sylvanas is going to give them a lot of extra push power here with the Zerg, if they're able to pick up that control point and own it for long enough. We're going to see the Deckard and Greymane. Cho'Gall, yeah, top meta hero, absolutely. Alarak is a hero that has seen a lot more bans lately as well. So, and honestly, actually, Oriel with her recent changes has been coming up pretty significantly as well. Coupled with the Gul'dan, she'll never be out of energy. Even without Gul'dan as a battery, she does quite a bit of her own hope generation. Although I've still seen her a lot with a double support, so I wouldn't necessarily be surprised to see like a Tassadar helping out. But we're going to see the ban onto the Johanna, so that's going to help with the to prevent them at least from blinding out the Greymane or whatever other hero they select. I almost wouldn't have minded an Arthas ban either against the Greymane. And there's that Mephisto along with a Nubarak, so there's not going to be any potential for the Cocoon when Mephisto dives in. Nubarak on secret. What am I missing? Oh, that's why. Alright, so we're going to see Blaze and Malthael. So Blaze can help slow those auto attacks as well. Just like the Arthas, just has to take the talent and build into that. Oops. And then we're going to see the Malthael, and Malthael will be able to hold that top lane pretty well. Dog, let's go Dan. Into the Rexxar. And Rexxar is a pretty solid hero for holding on to those points, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes with the Malthael and Rexxar up there in that top lane. But here are our teams. We're getting ready for Braxis holdout game number 1 between the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit and Beast Coast. So how do you think this is going to play out? Which team do you guys like better? Which draft do you think gives a little bit of an edge over their competition? I think that if Beast Coast loses a Zerg wave, they probably have a little bit harder time. Well, they definitely have a little bit harder time clearing it than Trump does. They don't have, you know, the big AoE bursty damage. Monkus on the Mephisto is going to have, you know, some of that, but it's a little bit of a longer cooldown if he doesn't hit heroes, as compared to the Gul'dan Sylvanas. So with the push of Sylvanas, I think that gives them a bit of an edge if they can succeed. But with a Greymane Mephisto, I mean, and the Anubarak dive in, that gives that's a pretty scary combination as well. So let's go ahead and get into the game. Ladies and gentlemen, on the left, we have the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. We're going to have Dangstrom on Blaze, Synchrony on Ariel, Ralph the Dog on Gul'dan, Eason G on Sylvanas, and Idiom's going to be playing the Malthael. On the right, we've got RGB Fox playing the Rexxar, Monkus going to be playing the Mephisto, Saris on the Deckard Cain, Megamuffin on Greymane, and Secret 333 on Anubarak. Zoom out just a little bit so we can see where the teams are. Pop up these level 1 talents, see what kind of interesting things we have. So we do have the Fellflame quest at 1. The spell power for Sylvanas, it looks like, as well. Might have the Banshee Queen. I believe that's the faster, yep, sweep for Ariel, giving her that 50% faster sweep there. Pale Horse for Malthael. So Malthael will be able to come down into the bot lane a little bit faster, but Megamuffin getting caught by the Blaze damage there, and it's going to be the first kill. Anubarak diving in. Also gets caught there just at the end by the Oriole. So 2 kills to nothing in under a minute here. And let's check in on our top lane here. Idiom's on a little bit behind on the overall damage from Rexxar, but doing fine on the lane pretty much there. And on the other side here for our level 1s, we do have the spell armor talent for Anubarak's shield. I believe that's the spell power build, malicious intent for Monkus. Sapphire for Deckard, increasing that slow damage for a bit, and of course the swoop. Bird of Prey giving that additional damage onto the minions, so helping Rexxar to clear minion waves faster. And as you can see, Misha already getting onto this point, owns it for the Beast Coast side, as both teams working on their bottom lane camps. I believe that the Bruiser camp is slightly better value on this, but not positive. But we got Dangstrom coming in, trying to get onto the channel, but ultimately pushed back from Beast Coast. A lot of damage going out there onto Megamuffin. Potions being delivered by Deckard Payne. And keep in mind now, these control points, because I know Bigsby, you haven't been around for a bit, these control points now work just like Dragonshire. And so as long as they are able to stay on the point, they will not lose it. But there's the dive in from Nubrak and Greymane, and Sylvanas taking half of her health, going straight to the graveyard. Up in the top lane, though, Malthael able to stop out that channel from Beast Coast, but falling down to half between the damage of Misha and Rexxar. Let's check in down here. Mega Muffin diving over the wall, looking for Blaze. Doesn't get him, but does get the kill on to Gul'dan. And the Fell Flame, or not the Fell Flame, but the missile, Skull Missile there from Mephisto will finish off the Blaze. And check it out. Mega Muffin making it out of there with double-digit health. Idiom's doing absolutely everything that he can to stall out this percentage and make sure that the Zerg Wave doesn't come against them, at least this early in the game. Now, again, the Zerg Wave would be certainly not very strong at this point, but they get more value if they can actually get a Zerg Wave on this, even if they have to defend against it. And their defense is pretty clean. But look at this, the Detainment Strike from Synchrony, followed up by the Jet Propulsion, and that's going to be one dead Beetle. That's going to give now the channel over to the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. And now Mega Muffin going in after Oriole, just barely able to get out of there as Jet Propulsion just missing. But the channel now begins for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. And it looks like it's going to continue for a little while here as Misha's going to fall. And Idiom's now very low on mana. But against a Rexxar, not a whole lot going on there. And it looks like we've got a bit of a pause as one of the players has disconnected. Yeah, it sounds like Anubrak is having some connection issues, so we'll be just a moment. But let's you know what, let's take a look. What do we got here? I can't vote for Trump because there's no chance of Moshes this game. Fair enough. All right. What do we got here? Just run under the towers and the building come back mechanics yet. I'm supposed to cheer for Trump, but I don't know. Fair enough. Well, fair enough. Fair enough. Getting some spicy chat up in here, waiting on nothing bad, nothing bad. Just some silliness. As we are currently waiting on our other player here. How y'all doing tonight? Welcome. It's Division B East. Oh, looks like we may have our player back. So currently 72 to 86%. The channel is still ready to go for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Looks like we're getting started. Here we go. All right, so once again, Misha is down here. Anubrak diving in, moving up toward the Sylvanas, but Sylvanas uses that Haunting Wave to get away here. Mega Muffin might not be so lucky as they did get the kill onto the Ariel, but the healing coming out from Deckard is going to keep him alive. And again, so now we have a full Zerg Wave here with a Sylvanas coming in against Beast Coast. So I expect that at least this fort goes down, and there may be even some more here, as this takes just a lot of effort for Beast Coast to get significant damage into it. But if they can push back the heroes like that, that's going to provide some breathing room here, as Sylvanas has no health. Up in the top here, we see, even with Malthael, able to pretty effectively clean up the damage onto the Zerg. So, looks like Beast Coast is going to be able to defend this. And with that, Trump is looking to maybe make an aggressive camp call here. Or maybe they were just checking. Just checking in, seeing what's going on there. And that's what's going to happen. Both teams coming to the siege camps. And keep in mind that the siege camps have that armor reduction on their attacks, which will help to do damage to structures, increasing damage to structures. But that's ultimately going to give 2 camps over here for the real ultimate mosh pit. And now Beast Coast catching on to their bruiser camp because it just came up. And we're seeing this rotation looking for the kill onto Rexar. There's the jet propulsion, detainment strike, and that is 1 dead hunter. And down in the bot lane here, siege camp is going to be cleared up by Beast Coast. And we're going to see the push in with the bruiser camp up in the top lane as well. Seeing the movement pings being called out. As the rotation switching top and bot for the solo lane. That's going to give a little bit more advantage over to the Malthael. But the dive in onto Sylvanas, she does use that haunting wave, so she can't get back out. The jet propulsion coming in, stalling out the damage potential from the Malthael. And by Malthael, I mean Mephisto. You know, whoever. People show up. Jet propulsion in, looking for that flame. Oh, I'm sorry. Jet propulsion's on the other side. Not looking for the kill onto Sylvanas, but Synchrony there trying to get away, does not. I was going to say, just had enough hope there, but the cooldown not quite available here. So that's going to be level 10s now on the side of Beast Coast. They're looking for that kill onto Sylvanas, not quite enough, but that's going to give Greymane enough to go in with the double kill coming out for Go Through the Throat, and Gul'dan following shortly thereafter. Huge value out of that Consume Souls. But down in the bot lane, we've got Rexar, and Rexar has his Unleash the Boars. Not likely to use it just at the moment, but it's there. We also, for Deckard, have the Respect the Abilities 20. We have the Stay a While and Listen. And of course, Cocoon for Anubrak. Does he even have another ult? Does anybody know? Like, I feel like there should be another ult, but he doesn't. But we have the Bunker Horrify Mind Control, interestingly enough. Crystal Aegis and Last Rites coming out from the real ultimate mosh pit. And here we go. Here's the mind control onto the Mephisto. Might have been meant for another target, but there's Cocoon onto Ariel with the Stay a While and Listen. Now Dengstrom getting caught here. Stun was onto the Anubrak, and now the dive in is gonna kill the Sylvanas as well here. Synchrony in tons of danger. Mega Muffin getting low as well, but just not enough damage from that that Angel of Hope. So regular season went 2-0 in favor of Trump, but right now Beast Coast is looking like they are all over this game. 11 kills to 5 so far. Mephisto heading down is going to get the channel started for the Zerg wave. And it's Beast Coast with the structure advantage as well so far. Although the Zerg wave will be in the opposite lanes from last round, so that will push down the bottom lane for Beast Coast, top lane for the real ultimate mosh pit. But here we go, 5 versus 4 as Dengstrom charging in there, but walks away, and that's going to give Beast Coast the opportunity to pick it up as Idiom's not quite on the point. And Mega Muffin is looking for that kill, almost had Idiom's down into single digits, got away, but the Consumed Souls will complete that kill. And Bunker is dropped. Now Stay a While holding the fort down here as once again Crystal Age is keeping this time Dengstrom alive. Not sure if he's going to make it out, though. The root does land onto Sylvanas, and Go for the Throat was used earlier, so that wasn't it. But big damage from Greymane. But because he doesn't get the kill, Gul'dan finishing off both Greymane and Anubrak. And look at these health bars. They have no health. Not only that, there's no energy there for Synchrony. There's no potential for a heal. All right, level 13's now available. We got the super pots, baby. Deckard Payne bringing in the, what is it, 50, 60%? Oh, I'm sorry, 120% additional healing from the super pots. And what is this? Shard of Hate. So giving a little bit of a cleave, also reducing the cooldowns when he auto attacks here. Mind control going out onto the Greymane. The Detainment Strike followed up by the sweep and the Horrified. That is just one thing after another for Greymane. Bunker is dropped, is going to prevent them from getting caught by the stay a while and listen. Great timing on that to prevent 3 from going in, and ultimately the damage allowed for number 4 to make it as well. So no lockdown potential there as Bunker saving the day, and that's going to give the full charge over to the real ultimate mosh pit. It's like they heard me and said, yeah, we won game 1 and 2 in the regular season. It's all right. We were just giving them a little bit of an early advantage. So right now, 4 versus 3, Greymane making it back here. And we see these super pots all over the back here to help provide value to the team. Consume Souls going out. So big burst of damage there, but a lot of hope available for Oriel. She goes into the cocoon, but not before she can get the heal out. And she does get pulled out of that cocoon pretty quickly here. The fort has already gone down. Mind control onto the Greymane, but the Haunted Wave allowing for Sylvanas to get out, but Greymane goes back in and does use that go for the throat to finish the kill onto Sylvanas, and that's going to mean that ultimately the real ultimate mosh pit has to back away. But they got the top fort down. That equalizes the pressure in the top, and both of the forts in the bottom lane pretty similar in health, roughly about 25% or so. They could have walked away from that. Absolutely, Super Goat. They could have. They stayed a little bit too long. And they paid for it with the price of 1 Sylvanas death. So now 9 to 13. XP advantage pretty decently in favor of Beast Coast right now. That's the main thing they've got in this game right now. The kills probably providing most of that. But we're going to see now the pings calling out for this camp invade here. But just a little bit too late. Let's take a look down here bot lane. So these camps still pretty healthy on the side of the Bruiser camp, with the Siege camp taking a little bit more damage there. So pretty clear that the Bruiser camp wins that fight. I'll turn it up here. I generally have the game sound turned down a bit because if I turn it up too much, it gets like reverb. So I just turned it up a bit. Contender, let me know if that if you can hear it, and if not, then I'll make sure that at least it's set up a little bit more for game number 2. All right, so both teams here working on clearing up the camps in their opposite lanes. And 16's available here for Beast Coast. Trump looking for some XP, but that's all the XP they've got anywhere nearby. There's nothing that they can get on their half of the map on the top lane. They just got what they could out of the bot lane. And they still need about 3/4 of a level here. Potions being dropped there by Deckard Payne. Possibly setting up for a boss play at some point. But now Trump can see them elsewhere on the map, picking up that soak. We're going to see the rotation up onto Rexar. Now, this was successful last time they did it, and Rexar's not using Misha to scout for him, so getting the slows out. The Horrify coming out as well, but here comes Mephisto. The Feigned Death, and it's going to be the kill onto Sylvanas, and now the double stuns coming out from Anubarak. And that's going to be a 3-for-0. Looks like a 4-for-0 here in just a moment as Ralph the Dog going down. Can it be a 5? Looking for the Blaze. It is, and we're going to see Greymane heading to the control point. Getting the channel started there as Misha's going to tank the hell out of this boss. And depending on which lane this boss goes, with the current death timers, this could end up being a game. And I almost want them to not cap it right away. I want them to wait. I think if they waited about 5 seconds until the teams actually were spawning, then it would have come up here around the same time as the Zerg wave and landed at the same time. This is going to give the potential for Trump to get some damage onto this boss before the Zerg wave gets here. Not a lot, though. The unintended bait, no doubt, right? So here comes the boss, getting some damage onto the walls. And, you know, Trump has a lot of Zerg clear. But as you can see, as I mentioned there, boss already about half when the Zerg gets here. So I think, again, if they waited just a few seconds, that could have been even better for them. But there's the kill onto the Sylvanas there. And that's a huge problem, is now the Zerg wave and this boss getting tons of damage onto these structures. The Horrify going out is going to lead to the kill onto a Nubrak. Stay a while and listen used. Bunker coming out. Crystal Aegis used onto the Gul'dan, but this is looking like it's going to be game number 1 going over to Beast Coast on Brax's holdout, as there's nothing stopping this boss and Zerg wave pressure coming in. Okay, Contender, I'll try turning it up just a little bit more in the game. I turned it up from the system there. So, fantastic gameplay from Beast Coast there. They started strong, they carried it through. They had a little bit of a road bump, speed bump, but they carried that through, and one solid team fight led to the boss play along with the Zerg waves there. And checking out these these talents, we didn't see level 20s. Let's see, winner was the red team. All right. So there you have it. Game number 1 between Trump and Beast Coast, going over to Beast Coast. Looking like they put some time and effort into practice, some scouting, making sure that they were ready to go for this number 3 team out of B East. Number 1 and number 2 both locked out. Number 1 was HOTUS, Heroes of the United States. That was a 2-0 that Beast Coast actually beat. Let's take a look at that bracket again. The number 2 was Minion Miners, who beat Reborn Knights Black. Minion Miners then fell 2-1 to the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Great. And guys, right now is when Alice and Al want to play, which is cute. They're having a good time, as is anybody. And you know what? While we're at it, let's get Alpha on the stream so she can say hi to everybody. Hey. Now everybody's jealous. Hey, relax, chill. Say hi to everybody there, Alpha. He's like, no, I don't want to do it. All right, here you go. Yeah, they really had the potential. Like, they had that CC chain lockdown earlier, but you know, in this case, they just didn't quite get what they needed to make that quick kill, and then the flank coming in from below ended up costing them. All right, looks like it's going to be Volskaya Foundry for game number 2, and it looks like it was Beast Coast selecting this. So let's take a look at our maps while we're waiting on the draft to get set up. Again, at the beginning here, we saw Infernal Shrines and Tomb of the Spider Queen was banned out by Beast Coast. Real Ultimate Mosh Pit banned out Battlefield of Eternity and Towers of Doom. The first game was on Brax's Holdout. That was picked and won by Beast Coast. Second game looks like it's going to be picked by Beast Coast as well, and that's going to be Volskaya Foundry. And let me turn this up just a little bit for you. Let's see, sound effects. I can always turn this back down a little bit if it sounds too loud when we get into it, let me know so that I can make adjustments. If there's any kind of reverb or anything like that, let me know about that as well. There we go. See how those goes. Right. Yeah, reduced healing because of that, yep. All right, so yeah, there was, I mean, definitely some back and forth there, some moments where sorry, I'm letting him know I'm ready. Some moments where Imperius, Jesus, Malthael had the lead over the Rexar, and you know, we did see both sides getting full Zerg waves. But we did see, you know, the first two went over to the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. They were able to get those kills that they needed to maintain the channel for the first two, but they weren't, surprisingly, they weren't able to get as much structure damage as I would have expected. Yes, they got the top fort on the second one. The first one I fully expected they would get more out of than they did. But as we saw on that top fort, they stayed a little bit longer than they really should have and ultimately lost the Sylvanas for it. But, all right, here we go. Game number 2 on Volskaya Foundry. And we're going to see the continued bans onto Zul'jin and ETC. Now, in the regular season matchup between these two teams, this was a 30-minute game. It was mostly on the side of Trump, but with some very solid counterplay from East Coast. So we are going to see the slight variation there as the ban going out onto Mephisto. So I'll be interested to see if we now see a Kel'Thuzad pickup. But we could also see a Maiev. Maiev works really well here. Could even go with the Kel'Thuzad. All right, there you go. And once again with the Deckard Cain. And Deckard can really help the Kel'Thuzad with his Scroll of Sealing to get those stacks quickly, and also for later in the game to really help the blow-up potential. But this time, Greymane going over to the other side. Ralph the Dog picking him up. And Dangstrom picking up that Johanna. So that's going to help with the Unstoppable, that Iron Skin. Better get your butt pillow. Yeah, we got 4 more potential games to play tonight. So, let's see. So, Blaze. And there's the Oriel ban. And you know what? That's perfectly fine. That was a strong hero. Oriel did a lot of work for them. You know, they may not have won the game, but I think that the Oriel could have certainly posed an issue for them with those combo stuns. And it's Jimmy. So, not as often going to get the slow potential out of Kel'Thuzad that he would from a Jaina, but Deckard provides slows, Kel'Thuzad provides slows, they both have roots, Arthas has all kinds of slows. So some good synergy there between the Raynor and pretty much the rest of the team. Also, Garrosh was banned out, so we don't have to worry about Garrosh throwing around any turrets and causing any problems there. The memes. Oh my goodness. We're going to see Anduin and Leoric on the side of Trump here. So Anduin's got that light bomb, can go with a Johanna Falling Sword, could go on a Greymane, could even go on a Leoric. So lots of potential targets for a light bomb there. We do have a few ways that Salvation would get interrupted, so I don't expect to see that. If you're not familiar with the Div B chat, you should go check it out. Final pickup going to be Thrall. So again, more roots, more slows. All right. Typing in who's on the points here. So some adjusted rolls here. Where's my thrall? There's your thrall, Valera. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, which team do you like between these two? I gotta say, I'm leaning towards Beast Coast on this. I like the Beast Coast draft a lot. Not to say that Trumps isn't good. There's some potential there, but I think that Beast Coast has maybe the potential easier combo to make work. But let's get into this. Game number 2, Volskaya Foundry between the real Ultimate Mosh Pit and Beast Coast. On the left, we've got the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. We've got Dangstrom playing the Johanna, Synchrony on Anduin, Idioms on Leoric, Rolf the Dog on Greymane, and Eason G on Sylvanas. Over to the right, it's Beast Coast, Megamuffin on Arthas, Saris on Deckard Cain, Secret 333 on Kel'Thuzad, Monkus on Raynor, and RGB Fox playing the Thrall. All right, and we do have the Pleb Horse here on Anduin. Just got to point that out. It was brought up in chat. Why not? So taking a look at these talents here. So, of course, Ace in the Hole, because why wouldn't you take Ace in the Hole? We've got Renew here for Anduin, so not looking for that bold strategy. And Leoric already in the bot lane working on getting Soak. And, you know, this is... Yeah, so okay. This is a questionable fight right at the beginning. You know, if I'm looking at these teams on their talents, if I was Trump, I wouldn't have even gone here. Like, mid lane's not where I go. I would have started in top lane. And the reason why is all of the quest talents, everybody that wants anything at level 1 is on Beast Coast. Whether it's Kel'Thuzad stacks, whether it's Echo of the Elements, that's Thrall in the bot lane, but obviously we saw him there. Even the Howling Blast quest, Frost Presence here from Arthas. Like, there's absolutely no reason for Trump to be there. And ultimately they ended up paying for it as with the 5v4, losing the Greymane. But that's not a lot of XP that they lose, so as you can see, they're only a little bit behind right now, and even that can be partially attributed to the fact that there's this minion here that hadn't died. So a little bit behind on the XP, but not a great deal. Both teams picking up their camps, their fortification camps, getting the turrets early. Thrall and Leoric going to stay in the bot lane here. We're going to get that rotation up from the rest of Trump. And let's see, what else do we have here? Early game, and use that to help win the late game. Yeah, it's not as much like that anymore. But let's check in on these Kel'Thuzad stacks. Already sitting at 9 out of 30. 2 minutes into the game. If I remember correctly, it was about 6 minutes into the game last time when Secret completed Kel'Thuzad stacks. So we'll see how that goes. Volskaya Foundry is a really good map for the Kel'Thuzad on these points. Their Iron Skin used, pulling Ralph the Dog there into the Arthas. But ultimately didn't get rooted, so that's a positive, because that root could have ended up being a big problem. We see Jimmy over there on the siege camp getting to work, and that'll set them up for lane pressure during the control point. But knowing that Jimmy's not nearby and seeing the rotation down into the mid lane, they leave Leoric to soak the mid lane, and that's going to give now Trump the opportunity to get the biotic emitter. Only if they pick it up, though. Thrall and Kel'Thuzad heading back. But neither team on the control point just yet. And this control point, a little bit different than what we saw a moment ago on Braxis. It doesn't it doesn't flip immediately. It has to go to the central neutral point, and then it goes up to the end. I guess it's very similar. But here we go. We're going to see the root coming out from Deckard. He's got these potions already on the point here as well, but Megamuffin taking a lot of damage. The Arthas having to pull back there. And this is pretty much okay for Beast Coast, as they've got this siege camp that's now starting to get damage onto the wall, and that's going to force Leoric to go up and clear that out. And that gives the opportunity now for Beast Coast to make their way onto the point. 39% picked up, but the root from Megamuffin, follow-up root from Fox, gonna spell the death of Sylvanas, and that's now 2 kills to nothing for Beast Coast. Level 7's now available as well for both teams. And with the timer, that's gonna get them the opportunity to come down and get their turret camp. And I think, yeah, they still have their first turret, so they'll have 2. Ralph the dog currently has 1 for Trump as well, so that'll go into 2 for them. And here we come back onto the point. 2/3 done for Beast Coast. Looks like they're going to go ahead and pull back as the turret is dropped. And with that Merc Queen, it's getting 60% additional damage. And we can see that damage going out onto Greymane, or I'm sorry, onto Jimmy. Both teams have a turret down. And I guess we used one earlier here on the side of Beast Coast. But the root onto Idioms, they're staying in there, is going to be the kill onto the Leoric. Ralph the dog trying to get the kill onto Megamuffin, but Kel'Thuzad popping off, getting Anduin and Sylvanas. Follow-up kill onto the Greymane, and that's going to give Beast Coast not only the control back on this point, but the opportunity to steal the turret from Trump. So that gives them item advantage of 1 item currently. Checking in on this, 30 seconds. So the biotic emitter will be available when the protector is completed here. And we see them heading straight up to the top. I think they could have gotten the wall for the XP, pushed them a little bit closer to 10, so that they could have definitely had level 10, and then they would have been able to get the well a little bit more easily. But right now they're just taking a whole ton of damage onto the protector. They do get the well, but now the protector's already at about 40%, 35%. And they're not quite at level 10. I think if they had done the damage to that wall when there wasn't anybody there, they would have been 10 and still about 2/3 of the protector. But level 10's coming up. We do have that Shadow Fisher. We also have Hyperion. Those are the only ones selected so far here. Protector has no health now, but it's got enough to be able to get some damage onto this structure, because without the level 10s, that still is a dangerous position for Trump to go into. We've got Army of the Dead. We have Stay a While. I don't see any specific reason that Thrall would go into Sundering, so I'm assuming he's going to go with the Earthquake. There it is. But again, as mentioned, the biotic emitter was available, so that's a quick pickup for Beast Coast. And they're on their way, level 11 now. Level 10's coming up very soon here, but with the current advantage, Beast Coast looking to clear up the lane here. But Trump making the rotation, and there's level 10, so Beast Coast pulling back here, while Thrall gets the fortification camp in the bot lane. And there we see it. How long on this one here? 30 seconds still on the Trump side fortification camp. And we're going to see with the Sylvanas some push onto this wall here, but Army of the Dead is used. The Leap of Faith pulling Eason out of danger, but not necessarily for Johanna, as she pops that Iron Skin, trying to run away from an Arthas that's slowing her. And the big root from Deckard, it is going to be Salvation, but it gets interrupted and gets the kill onto Johanna. Synchrony now also in danger as Rolf the Dog trying to push off the Arthas, but there's no way that's happening. And that's a 2-for-0 kill, and I think that I think Salvation was a sketchy call. I understand maybe that they were thinking it would help to counter the Kel'Thuzad, but it just... Oh my goodness, it's so not going to be good for Anduin. I think every time he pushes that button, it's going to be a death. But let's see, what do we have? Cursed Bullet, we've got Entomb, the Holy Word Salvation. I didn't even see what she took. It is Mind Control again, and Blessed Shield from Johanna. And I think, you know, everything else I think is fine. I just think that the Salvation is going to be a very big challenge for them. Pull in onto Johanna. She should have Iron Skin, I think. Doesn't even need to use it if she does have it available, as it's only Kel'Thuzad. But let's take a look at those stacks, right? 30 have been completed. And it looks like Johanna in that aggressive bush, watching for the rotation. Level 13's available here, so let's pop those up again. Super potions. And now rotating down onto Fox. The Entomb going out, looking for this kill. And the Mind Control. There are a whole bunch of R buttons used for that kill. But they do get the kill, and now they're going to get some damage onto this bot lane. But Dengstrom is very low here. On the counter, we've got Army of the Dead coming out. The pull did land onto the Johanna, but she's going the wrong way on the conveyor belt, and she had the Unstoppable. Ralph the Dog trying to get the kill onto Arthas, but so much healing. And again, the secret chains landing onto Leoric, taking him out, getting the kill onto Johanna shortly thereafter. And once again, to pull the chain, and a dead Greymane and a dead Anduin. Every time he casts Salvation, it's going to be at least one kill. I'm calling it now. Possibly two. And Beast Coast now working on getting pressure in the bot lane. They've got a significant minion wave here as Arthas and Thrall. No, just Arthas. Arthas up on the top there. Thrall making his way onto the biotic emitter. So that's going to give Beast Coast now, is that two of those? Yep, two biotic emitters, two, what are they called? Turrets. So all of the item advantage here over to Beast Coast. And they are looking heavy strong. Siege Camp picked up here by the real ultimate mosh pit. 85%, so they are making their way on level 13s for both teams here. And Beast Coast gonna go ahead and pull back. I'm honestly a little bit surprised by that, but it looks like maybe they're thinking that they'll go get a turret, get some value elsewhere in the lanes, because they've got about 90 seconds or so to dink around doing things elsewhere. Maybe work on getting to level 16 so that they can have a strong advantage here. There's Earthquake, and here they come. They don't have Kel'Thuzad yet, but he's coming in. Biotic emitter was used, and it's going to be enough to keep him alive. It looks like as Grey Wolf, Ralph the Dog going down here. And Sylvanas getting caught by Thrall. This looks like it could be even more kills, as now Synchrony, the chain just missed the Glacial Spike there. That's going to be 3 kills, and the only ones making it out are the tanks and the Bruisers, who have the Unstoppable. And that's going to be now a Protector here, making its way down into the mid lane. Swapping people in the Protector there, leaving Raynor available here. Getting a little bit of damage on their way to the bot lane. The pick was defensible. I can't believe that. Thrall route too. Yeah, I mean, basically any movement, any stuns or anything like that, they have a lot of ways to interrupt it. So, you know, I think that the Thrall Earthquake provides a lot more synergy with the team that they were, you know, built around. Plus, I don't think that Thrall had even a remote idea that they would take the Salvation, but it looks like Sylvanas just not able to make it out of there. And holy cow, with that armor reduction from the root from Arthas, getting the blow up onto Anduin, and they're gonna get a full keep out of this. And 20 seconds still until the team is up. This could be on their way to core now. There's only about 10 seconds left on the Protector, so they're not going to get a ton of value out of the Protector. But level 17s, they've got the bonus here. And they're on their way. Already 50% on the core. Greymane coming in is going to be another death. And this is not a regular season Volskaya 30-minute game. This is a 13-minute game with the hard carry Kel'Thuzad doing some work. Beast Coast bringing it on strong. 2-0 so far. 18 kills to 1. Fire Dragon or you're nothing. Fire Dragon. Is that... It's not Syndergosa. She's an Ice Dragon. So I'm not sure who you're talking about, Valera. But 18 to 1 on the kill count here. Take a look at these talents. And I think, you know, it was mentioned earlier, Antares, I think? Or Antaeus? I think I have to agree with the very first thing that you said, being that it felt like right out of the gate that Trump didn't appropriately acknowledge how they needed to play into this team comp. I don't think they lost in draft. I think they had the potential to do this, but not in the way that they did it. So, Syndergosa. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Syndergosa's, you know, a fun ult. I like it. I use it a lot. It's okay. You're all good. But hey, listen, everybody. This is a best of 5. We still have at least 1 map. Maybe even 2, possibly 3. So we'll hear from the teams in just a minute here where we're going. But we're going to go ahead and take a quick break. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
There is much for us to settle.
All right, and we're back. That would be Alice, everybody. Having a little bit of fun with her squeaky toys. How does Bandit never make sound on his stream? I feel like squeaky toys are relevant there. So it looks like we're going to be going to Alterac Pass for game number 3. Now it looks like we are also missing a player or two. There they are. So let's take a look at the map history here, shall we? So we've got game number 1 was on Braxis Holdup. That was picked and won by Beast Coast. Game number 2 picked and won as well by Beast Coast. That was Volskaya Foundry. Game number 3 is going to be Alterac Pass, and this time Trump's saying we want the map pick. And we're going to go to Alterac Pass. But our bans tonight, we're not going to see Battlefield of Eternity or Towers of Doom. They were banned out by the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Tomb of the Spider Queen and Infernal Shrines also banned out. This time by Beast Coast. And that's our history. That's where we've been. That's where we won't be going. And where we will be going. But we'll see. We could see the likes of a Dragonshire, a Cursed Hollow, or a Sky Temple. If this goes all the way to game number 5, those maps could make their way back. And you know what? Thursday, we saw a 5-game series. It started off as 2-0. And as they say, you can't have a reverse sweep unless you go down 2-0. So this is the opportunity for Trump to put out something unique, put out something that maybe Beast Coast isn't familiar with, that they've played a bit of. Or to stick to what they're really solid at, play something that they know that they can win at. And maybe that's why we're on Alterac Pass. They feel very confident here that they can make this happen. But in this last potential game for Trump, there's a lot of pressure on this team. They've got to deal with the fact that they're at the they're at the end of their potential season if they don't win this game. And that can be a psychological problem for them. They have to overcome that. The whole team, not just the leader making the shot calls, not just the tank player or the support player. The DPS have to overcome that challenge, make sure that they're in the right place at the right time and pulling the right R buttons to make those kills happen. But here we go into Alterac Pass, game number 3 between the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit and Beast Coast. So, Contender, was the sound a little bit better? Were you able to hear the game a little bit better last game? All right, so sticking with that ETC ban, I'll be interested to see what does Mosh Pit want to do? Do they want to keep banning out the Zul'jin? They're going to ban out the Sylvanas, and that is an interesting first ban. They've had it. They don't want Beast Coast to pick it up. And sticking with the ETC Alarak for Beast Coast. And this is pretty much Sylvanas' best map, so, you know, a completely reasonable ban. And there's the Kel'Thuzad. And that doesn't surprise me, so I'll be interested to see if we get a Mephisto, if they stick with that. Because, I mean, you have to assume that at least right now, if you're Trump, you're expecting them to want the Anub'arak, the Anub'arak, the Mephisto. But we're going to see the Tyrael Greymane. And there's that Zul'jin that was mentioned earlier, so okay, we're going to see what happens with this. And also the Mephisto, so I think I see where this is going. Although, I could be wrong because this isn't the greatest map for it. We're going to see the Garrosh band continuing the trend. And I don't even think that I don't even think if you're Beast Coast you even have to consider banning out the potential for Juice Pirates on this map, because the armor mechanic for the core and the cavalry are just so absolutely powerful that you just have to push and you can win. So we'll see. So I don't expect that to be the way that they're going. It might be. But we're going to see Malfurion and Li Ming. So they're not going with the juice. But yeah, Antaeus, same, you know, thinking the same kind of thing. But you're right. I mean, running with the Tyrael, the Greymane, being able to dive in, getting the damage from the Li Ming. You know, Anub'arak now going to be able to help counter that Li Ming a bit with the Beetles. And Samuro going to be the pick, the final pick with for Fox. And I've seen Samuro, or I've seen Fox play Samuro, and it's pretty brutal. So I gotta tell you, after these last couple of games, right now, I'm feeling like the side of Beast Coast has absolutely everything they could possibly want, and this is gonna be an uphill battle for the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. The final pick gonna be the Leoric there. Tyrael. So they do have the Sanctification if they want to help with the Mephisto burst. That may have been the reason why they first picked that Tyrael, or I guess 1-2 picked that Tyrael. The rest of the team, you know, Malfurion doesn't really have the burst prevention. Li Ming doesn't have a ton of health, So it's going to be interesting to see how they deal with this, or even if Mephisto instead goes into Durance, he could build another way. But Durance, I think, gets countered by the Sanctification really easily, so I don't expect to see Durance. I expect to see... Well, so I guess so does Consume Souls. So we'll see. But the Judgment would work to interrupt Consume Souls as well. So that's... Either one of those works. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it's game number 3. This could be the last game of the season for the Real Ultimate Mosh Pit. Give them some love, even if you just want to give it game 3. Or game 4, rather. We've got Idioms on Leoric. Dengstrom going to be playing the Tyrael. Synchrony on... Wow. What the hell is his name? Malfurion. I kept thinking Malthael. Eason G on the Li Ming. Ralph the Dog on Greymane. And on the side of Beast Coast, we have some Murrow played by RGB Fox. Megamuffin playing that Zul'jin. Saris on the Oriole. Munkus on Mephisto. And Secret 333 on the Anubarak. So Root already going out there, landing onto the Zul'jin, but Zul'jin's just throwing those axes. And stacking up with impunity. He's right at the wall. He doesn't care. There's nobody in front of him. Look at this. He's doing whatever he wants to over here. Nobody can stop Zul'jin right now. But Secret 333, they can get some damage onto Secret. Munkus down in the bot lane, gathering the soak. RGB Fox in the top lane. I'm gonna call him Fox. Getting that soak, along with Idioms there. But we're gonna have to keep an eye here. We do have the Headhunter. But, you know, kind of, once again, as I mentioned at the beginning of game 2, the quest fight here, there's no reason for Trump to be here, to dedicate so many resources to that. All they do is provide value to Zul'jin. If they lose somebody, they give him stacks of Headhunter. So I think that was, you know, I think they should have spread out a little bit on that. But that's okay. Such is life. Both teams picking up their camps here. Fox working on his with those clones. Greymane and Malfurion on the other side, and of course Malfurion not the greatest healer for camps because he can't get the burst potential out of his Moonfire. So here we go, camps meeting in the middle. There's no Sylvanas to provide empowerment to them, no Gazlos, no Lost Vikings, nothing like that. And now I will say, I mentioned earlier, and we do have level 4s here as well. I mentioned earlier that the, well, and we're going to see the dive in onto Saris there, the Root, and Greymane trying to get the kill, but not quite able to finish the job there. But I mentioned they wanted to be on heroes that they're comfortable on, and these are heroes that they're comfortable on. I mean, Ralph the Dog plays Greymane a lot. Dengstrom also plays Tyrael a lot. So this gives them, you know, play something that they don't have to spend extra energy on trying to figure out how do they make it work. Instead, you know, play heroes that they are used to, have a good feel for, instinctual. And the prison camp's now available here. Let's check in on Zul'jin. How's he doing? 10 stacks out of 30, so he's already a third of the way done. And again, that's because he's been able to be so far forward for much of this game, just walking right into players. And with these beetles, he can even walk in under the towers because the beetles will protect him. How many stacks on Zul'jin? I literally just posted it, so I'm guessing that'll catch up here in just a second. But we are now up to 10 still, as the siege camp's getting picked up here by both teams once again. But because of that, Zul'jin making value happen in this mid lane. And we're going to get the rotation up from Greymane and Malfurion now, as they do have the camp. But that's a healing well in the mid lane, along with the wall. So that is fantastic pressure here from Beast Coast. Neither team yet on the prison camps. Samuro heading up top is trying to deal with the fact that Leoric is getting some value here. Missing the spooky hand. Leoric is pops that Osirian's renewal. And that's a good cooldown to burn. So level 7 for both teams. Sitting about the same though. Very slight advantage it looks like to Beast Coast as Fox is picking up this top lane here. Leoric down in the bottom. Now in the middle rather. Trying to keep the lane clear as this is going to allow Beast Coast to push in. Zul'jin sitting at 13. No stacks of Headhunter just yet. But again, and Monk is going in with his Shade of Mephisto, I think is what that's called. Allowing him to get some damage relatively safely from a far distance away. Same thing here again. And Leoric's going to be the first kill, and that's going to give Zul'jin 1 stack. Looks like it's going to be a second as he gets all of that damage onto Greymane, and they're looking for possibly a third, although with the fort down here, and Eason just below trying to get some flank damage here. Now, Fox making use of the clones, able to pick up the prison camp, and Mephisto getting that kill onto the Li Ming. And that counted, so now, after that fight, that gives Zul'jin now 6% additional damage across the board. And it looks like they're going to be able to pick up this prison camp with the staggered death from Li Ming. All that the real ultimate Mosh Pit can do is get over to their camp and send that out to help counter what's going to be coming in the form of a cavalry push from these Horde Wolf Riders. Yeah, B-Train, I mentioned that earlier too. Zul'jin's just doing whatever he wants in this game. Level 10's now available. We do see that Consume Souls, the Crystal Aegis, Illusion Master, Taz Dingo coming out from Zul'jin, and Anub'arak holding on to his ultimate like we don't know what he's going to take. I gotta admit, I almost want to see him take Locust Swarm just for the memes. But I mean, he's not going to, right? Right? Beast Coast running it down mid with the cavalry pressure as Trump is trying to deal with it in the off lanes. We've got Fox up in the top here, working on the Leoric and getting value there. But again, already this full keep wall is down, the well is down. Mid lane looking very, very strong here for Beast Coast. And with the camp, they're getting the armor penalty too. Level 10's available now for Trump as Consume Souls did go out there. And the Sanctification was just a little bit outside of where Malfurion needed, but they do get that kill onto Zul'jin, and that is huge if they can stay alive, which Ralph the Dog going down as well now. And it looks like Dengstrom is maybe okay. Is he gonna be able to Druid's away? He's gonna get the dive in, and it looks like with the smite makes it across the wall. Now Idioms though doesn't have a lot of health, trying to drain that away from Secret on the Anub'arak, and is able to at least help the disengage for Tyrael to make it out. This should be let's see, they've got camps over here so they can keep the pressure in the mid lane. So I think if they grab this camp, in fact, Fox can do that, and they can keep pressure in this top lane, possibly even get a boss when they see Trump defending that. Wait, was it Locust Swarm? Oh my god, it's Locust Swarm, guys! I can't believe this is happening. I think this is literally the first time Locust Swarm has been picked in an NGS game all season, but we've got the 5-man rotation coming up here, and it's going to be the kill onto Ariel using the Entomb. Monkus going in there trying to get some damage, but not quite enough. And now the kill onto Oriel is going to give some value now over to the real ultimate Mosh Pit. And this is a time where they have to get things going. They're sending Leoric down, and so they still have an even fight in this top lane, but Zul'jin is just bullying them off by himself. Doesn't even have an Oriel behind him, but the threat of the Taz Dingo and no real way to stop it. There's no attack speed slow. The only thing they can do is Sanctification. And the interrupt onto the Twilight Dream, not going to be able to prevent that Taz Dingo going out. There's the Sanctification. They get the kill onto Malfurion. and also then the return kill onto the Zul'jin. So they do manage to get that here, but Consumed Souls looks like it's going to get Li Ming, and that's going to force Trump to pull back. And all they really got out of that was the tower wall. You know, losing 2 heroes for 1, not really enough value for them. And Leoric popping up the Entomb, but Fox able to throw out some pretty heavy damage there onto the Greymane. Now this is the moment where, you know, at level 16, and I hate to even bring it up, but if Fox selects that Merciless Strikes, that's a banned talent. And even if they win the game, it could end up costing them. So Li Ming getting taken out by the Samuro there, and the Burrow charge in, helping to lock down Greymane, and that's now all of the damage dead on the side of Trump. This is going to give Beast Coast the opportunity to push into this top lane, probably get this fort, or the keep. And with the cavalry coming, this could ultimately even be game, because that's going to push right in onto the mid lane, and I'm kind of surprised to see them pulling back at this point. I think that with the Anubarak beetles, they could have at least started working on the walls. All right, here we go. 5-man defense up here in the top lane, and Tomb going out, hits 2. The Cursed Bullet hitting onto Mega Muffin. There's the Sanctification. It's before he uses Taz Dingo, so... But no Taz Dingo coming out, the burst landing, and Saris now in danger as well. Eason looking for the kill for the resets. Not quite able to get it, but they lose the Greymane, and now the resets are coming in, and the damage going out. Malfurion dying, Tyrael dying. It's only Li Ming left alive, and she does get the teleport, but she can't escape the Consumed Souls. A 5 for 2, and now Mephisto and Samuro, the only ones left alive for damage on the side of Beast Coast. Samuro can shred through these things pretty quickly here, and he's going to head over to the core, start working on this as Mephisto and Anubarak trying to finish maybe this top keep. Because I don't think, I was going to say, I don't think Samuro can do this by himself. I think that if Samuro was in the top lane and taking that top keep out, then they can push and win the game. But I don't think he can do it, certainly before they get this top keep down. There's too much armor. They need their Zul'jin to make that happen. But Monkus getting caught out by the team. And now, look at that, 10,000 health. If they had committed to the top, I think they could have made that keep go down, and they could have won the game there. But the Root just barely missing Secret, as he's going to make it out. And this gives Trump a little bit of breathing room. Level 16's now available here for Samuro. He did not take the Merciless Strike, so he's all good. And working on level 16 here for the side of the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. And Samuro using that Illusion Master to keep track of what's going on boss-wise here. Everybody back up for both teams. 16 is available now for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit, so getting some of those additional burst damage from, you know, the protection here for Li Ming, Diamond Skin. We also have the Alpha Killer, so 3% of their maximum health whenever Greymane lands some damage there. His auto attacks. Cursed Bullet going in, and the Chain Stun onto the Greymane. They're gonna get the kill onto Anubarak at the cost of Greymane. But Zul'jin and Mephisto get caught in that Entomb, and Li Ming going nuts. And that's going to be exactly what Trump needs to continue this value. They're going to get onto this top boss and sending the Leoric down to deal with the waves. But Samuro is going to get so much value here. Samuro can pick up the camp. He can clear the lanes, gather that XP, make it so that they can start working on 20. And we can see already Samuro making use of the clones to get the camp started. And he should be able to stall this out for a while too. So with just Leoric down here, that is a little bit dangerous for him against a Samuro and Oriel. So he's going to try to set things up. And now we're going to see the rest of the team rotating down here as the boss going. The boss is at best going to get that top fort. So He's not going to be able to get a keep by any means. So they don't even need to defend this. This is really just map pressure, something to keep things moving forward, to give them some breathing room. Leoric did stop that channel, so they're at least safe for the time being here. And Fox, again, picking up this middle lane camp. And this is super value for Beast Coast because they already have the keep down. They already have the top keep down. So this camp in the middle will have the Reaver pressure to go along with it. And it'll push against this camp no problem in the mid lane. And eventually that has to be addressed. One lane won't kill a boss. 2 lanes of pressure, especially with a camp, definitely will. And by boss, I mean core. So top boss here, sitting about a third, so it'll get a little bit of damage onto that keep wall. Beast Coast looking for level 20s. They're very close. We see the channel started here for Trump. And they have to fight this. Because this level 20 plus prison camps, the Wolf Riders, will end the game. We're going to see the attempt onto Zul'jin there, the Sanctification going out. Taz Dingo is popped. Secret, Anubrak getting a little bit low there. The kill now onto Zul'jin. 5-2 or 5-3 right now, chasing down the Anubrak. Munkus trying to get out. I don't think there's any way Munkus lives through this. He does use that Shade and then the Consume Souls, but Consume Souls is gone as Greymane popping in and getting that kill. Fox gonna try to sneak in this camp, but isn't gonna be able to do so. So he's just gonna try to provide the pressure in the mid lane, as I mentioned earlier. But now working on the bottom boss is Trump, trying once again to get another structure, keep the pressure going. But this is a problem. They have Reavers in this. They have the Siege Camp, which is gonna reduce the armor of the boss. And that armor goes down to 0, basically, with the Siege Camp. Although it was fairly low health, so... But you can see how much it's doing. Even just with the minimal health that it had, it did 20% of its health. So if that top lane was there a little bit earlier, if Samuro had gone up there to clean up top, then that would have been a dead core if they don't go back. Let's show these level 20s here. So we have that upgraded Taz Dingo. We've got the upgraded Consume Souls. The Hardened Shell for Shield, rather, for Anubrak. Not Laws of Hope, Shield of Hope, and then the upgraded Illusion Master as well. So, and again, look at how much damage this core is taking. It's already at half, and that was with just simply a couple of minions with the Samuro. So they're gonna have to constantly be watching. But level 20 now available for the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. So check this out, upgraded Twilight Dream. How about that teleport silence? What about the silence from an Entomb? And this is the moment that they've been waiting for. A big Entomb silence is going to cause massive problems. A teleport silence could be even on top of that. But we do see the Entomb silence going out. The Crystal Aegis, at least for the time being, saves the Mephisto, but not going to make it out alive. And a quick kill here for Trump. But Fox making it onto the camp here. Let's zoom out and watch this as the knockback onto Idioms. Gonna get some damage there. Could go down, is gonna go down. So now it's an even fight. But Eason in the back here getting super low from the Samuro, as is the Greymane. And that's gonna give the channel over to Beast Coast. And they've lost both Malfurion and Leoric. And these lanes are all the way pushed. And this is the game right here. They get the Taz Dingo now, but the kill onto Greymane, and I think that all but secures a 3-0 victory for Beast Coast as the Wolf Riders are making their way. But Beast Coast is already on the core, making their way onto the point here. They've got 80% or so to go. And here comes the cavalry, making sure that this damage is going to go even faster. And you see the GG's calling out. Ladies and gentlemen, we've got a 3-0 victory. A full sweep coming out from Beast Coast over the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. The regular season, Beast Coast fell 2-0. behind the real Ultimate Mosh Pit. And it was quite a loss. They put up a huge fight. The first game was a fairly quick fight, just like our first game tonight was. The second game, a little bit more even, but ultimately falling to Trump. But tonight, Beast Coast making it heavy and bringing in the 3-0 victory. Let's see. We're going to get an interview here in just a moment.
Hey, Arrow.
Hello there. Welcome, Mega Muffin. Is anybody else joining us?
No, just me today.
All right. Well, hey, listen.
Tonight.
Yeah, fair enough. Congratulations. What a game. What a series. You guys really played that quite impressively.
Thank you. Oh my god, it was a lot of fun for us. We had such a blast playing trumpet, and I hope they did too because they played so well.
It was, you know, were you there on Thursday when I cast you guys' replay?
I was.
So it was quite a turnaround from what you guys had on Thursday. You know, the regular season you guys fell 0-2. I just mentioned that on stream. Tonight, 3-0. You know, the games a couple days ago, the first game looked very heavily against you. The second game was very close, but you guys lost. Tonight was, it almost felt like you guys played 2 days ago and tonight was revenge for that. It was like you carried that energy over from the regular season 2, 3, 4 weeks later, and just there was nothing they could do against you tonight. I mean, your drafting was fantastic, your play was great, and you just made it happen every time. You built around their drafts. So, you know, what was the energy like in the team tonight?
Oh yeah, let me tell you something about revenge. All right, I know you saw those memes in that FB chat. So
I don't know what you're talking about.
And oh yeah, we were pumped. We were ready to prove those memes wrong. And like going into the game, like first, like I was trying to, like we did enter this game with Monkus very sick, and I was hoping that would not affect our team morale too much. But, you know, after that Braxis game, like, speaking of Braxis, I cannot believe Trump let us have Braxis. That's, like, my personal favorite map. That's Secret's favorite map. We love Braxis, and we got it. I think that gave us a lot of momentum. Like, we were just pumped.
Absolutely. And so what was, so you mentioned there, you know, obviously Monkus is sick. Part of the reason that we had a short delay at the beginning of the match. What was so of course his energy is going to be a little bit lower because of that, but what was everybody else's energy like? You know, were you guys at a 10 or were you at about 5 starting this out?
I mean, we're generally enter most games with like, I don't know, we're a quiet bunch of people, to be honest. We're not like raving or anything going into game. I personally was really excited to play against Trump. Like, actually, like, before this whole match happened, I actually managed to get into a few brawls with them. I was playing with them in a party. We were just, you know, talking, having a good time, and I knew I was excited going into this game at least.
Sure. So, you know, talking about drafting, talking about bans, all that stuff. So, Game 1, Game 2, they banned out Zul'jin. Game 1, they banned out Kel'Thuzad. Game 2, they banned out Mephisto. And you guys kind of danced around the mage play. They banned out one, you took the other. They banned out Sylvanas, so you couldn't take her, and then you took the Zul'jin. So, how much of your guys' drafting, like, adjusted? I know you guys did a lot of work preparing for tonight. So how much of this was adjusted as you were going into these games? Like, were you planning to take those specific heroes on those maps, and then you said, oh, that's fine, we'll go to plan B? Or was that your plan A the whole time?
Oh, yeah, like, for these drafts, Monkus and I actually put quite a bit of work into making, like, these flowchart thingies. It's like, if they pick this, we pick that. If they ban this, we ban that. We were just prepared for a lot of different possibilities, and I can safely say that nothing happened this game outside the realm of, like, nothing happened that we were like completely not expecting.
Sure. So, so you mentioned, you know, you put together flowcharts. What kind of a time investment was that for you guys to prepare for this?
Oh gosh, Monkus and I had to sit down for like, quite a few hours, especially like since this is a best of 5, right? We had to plan for 6 maps. Literally every map that was not banned, so that took quite a few hours. It's more like we did spend quite a lot of time like scrapping ideas. That's the biggest part. Like we scrapped a lot of drafts, and like if we were big brain enough to just like assemble a good comp instantly, I'm sure we wouldn't have taken so long. But it did take quite a few hours.
Sure. And so you were playing the Zul'jin in the last game, yeah?
Mm-hmm. Oh my god, that was actually pretty embarrassing for me.
Well, you know, I don't know about all that, because it felt like from the very beginning of the game, you know, up until the one point that you finally got killed, which was, I don't know, 2/3 of the way into the game. But from the very beginning of the game, it felt like there was absolutely nothing that they could do to stop you. I mean, you were on their walls, in their face at level 1, just auto-attacking them with impunity. And so, sure, you may have been embarrassed because you got, you know, killed at some point or what have you, but how did the rest of that game feel, other than when you did get killed that time?
Yeah, like in the beginning, I realized that Trump was trying like really hard to like not get me stacked, I think, but they kind of tried a little bit too hard, and they gave all their structures because they weren't defending it at all. That for me, that was like, if I don't kill you, I guess I'll kill all your buildings. Okay.
And that's one of the things that I brought up starting in game 2, and then I mentioned it in game 3 as well, that you know, that Trump didn't really have the right response to your guys' early game, because both games you're looking for the opportunity to stack your quests, whether it's Kel'Thuzad, whether it's Zul'jin, and they pretty much just handed that to you on a silver platter. And I think that made a huge difference for you guys, you know, in the overall push of the game, in the tone of the game.
Yeah, it felt like we never had like much of an opportunity to stray off course. Like it felt like we were just like riding a train, no brakes, full speed ahead, and for like definitely like all of game 2 and a fair bit of game 3.
Sure. So I have 2 more things, and then we can wrap up here. So the first thing I want to say, and this is, I just want to shout this out because it's not the first time I've seen this, and it's absolutely fantastic. I've seen Fox play Samuro on Alterac Pass, and every single time he does the same thing of get all the camps and keep, you know, eyes everywhere and get the prison camp. Like, you don't even have to be there. He can take care of that while you guys are doing absolutely everything else. So I want to shout out Fox's Samuro play on that map. I honestly cannot believe that it doesn't get banned every time against him on that map, because every time I see it played, he's just absolutely A+ on that.
Yeah, he's absolutely fantastic. We actually relied on him to save the game a bit, because I think you guys, I think everyone saw that, like, I personally was kind of going insane. I was flanking with my healer against the entire enemy team. I looked like this entire thing happened because Dangstrom wouldn't die for me. All right. Like, I needed
that was actually
his
the other
head.
question. Was whether or not you completed your headhunter.
I did not. Dangstrom did not die for me, and I was getting really annoyed. I was like charging my team into them, like that top boss. I charged my team to them. I charged myself into them on the bot point. Oh my god, it was crazy. I was going insane.
So what you're saying is that, being that you guys were ahead in levels and structures, you felt that it was okay to go ahead and just suicide for the opportunity to get that extra little bit of range. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yeah, it's like we have room to lose, right? So I'll go into a little bit and hope nothing horribly goes wrong. But things started going horribly wrong because of my insane.
It definitely looked like there was some potential for Trump to come back as they got their level 20s, and we're looking with the combination of that Entomb silence with the Twilight Dream silence, teleport. You know, that could have spelled some significant problems for you guys, but you know what? Saris brought the Crystal Aegis, kept Monkus alive. You know, at least in that initial burst, I think they eventually did get him anyways, but that's more time that gave you the opportunity to get damage on them. You guys get 2 kills onto the Leoric, onto the ultimately the Malfurion a short bit later, and that leads to the, you know, the game. So yes, that led to an opportunity for them to come back in, but your team played well tonight, and you're going on to the grand finals now.
Oh yeah, we are definitely looking forward to that. We actually don't know who is going to be our opponent. I don't know if they've played yet.
They have not. So they play...
Okay.
I'm on the wrong page, sorry. They play tomorrow, actually. I was going to mention that at the end of this. Devil Kegs versus Logical Decision tomorrow night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Pacific. It's going to be on Majesty's channel at twitch.tv/Nexus Commentaries, so make sure you tune into that. There are actually 4 other games tomorrow too. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. Well, listen, let's go ahead and wrap this up. So I do want to ask you, because it's one of my favorite questions to ask, what was your favorite moment tonight?
Oh my god, that Braxis
you gotta
game.
Pick one.
That Braxis game. I know. When there were 2 people low, I think it was Gul'dan and Sylvanas, and I jumped over the wall. I jumped over the gate, and we actually killed them both, and I didn't die for it.
I think there might have been 2 of those, but there was, you dove after Blaze, who ended up going up and away. Mephisto came in with, I think, the Skull Missile to kill him. You then went after Gul'dan and got him down below, and then you made your way out. And I was like, how the hell does this happen? Yeah,
that was my favorite moment. Anoob's Beetles actually tanked quite a bit of the front tower shots, so the towers were not like all focusing me at once. We got enough time for me to destroy that bottom wall and let me just walk out scot-free. Well, not scot-free, but you know,
good
not
enough.
Dead.
hey, yeah, if you've got 1 hit point, you're fine. Feels good. All right, well, Megmuffin, the opportunity now for shoutouts is all on you.
Alright, well, I definitely want to shout out my team, everyone who showed up tonight, and everyone, we've all put in so much work over this season to improve as a team, to get better, and I think our efforts paid off, like for reals. A big shout out to Monkus, who managed to actually play in this game despite his condition, and big shout out to Trump for just being such an amazing group of people. Those memes kept me laughing for hours on end, and they played really well. And I hope I get to see them next season.
All right, is that it? Good deal. Well, thanks for joining me here tonight. And next week, grand finals. So, you know, make sure you get that scheduled as soon as possible once you do find out who your opponent is. That way the casters have enough time to, you know, start brawling over who's going to pick up your match. And ultimately, Jason gets to select that one. So get that on the calendar as soon as possible.
Okie dokie.
Awesome. Congratulations.
Thank you. And I'll see you around.
See you later. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap us up here tonight. There are no more games tonight. That was it. Earlier today, Bahamut cast the games between Clouded Minds and... Is it Blood? Yeah, Clouded Minds and Bloodbath and Beyond. I believe Clouded Minds won that in the Division D West, so they will be playing against Probius next week. And now for B East... We've got Beast Coast. Beast Coast heading to the grand finals. They'll be facing off against Logical Decision or Devil Kegs, whichever team wins tomorrow. Again, you can catch that on twitch.tv/Nexus Commentaries, and that is at 10 o'clock Thanks again for joining us tonight. Have a wonderful night. Just so that you're all aware, there's no rewind tomorrow. Unfortunately, I have plans. I'm sorry. So you won't be able to catch that tomorrow, but we'll start that back up here in the regular season in Season 8, coming in December, the first week of December. For everybody out there, enjoy the rest of the grand finals coming at you, or the Coastal Finals tomorrow, and we'll see you again soon.